Hi, friends. This is Wendy Harrop, and welcome to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. On the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, you'll hear stories from women just like us who are adding the practice of saying yes in their daily lives in big and small ways, and as a result, are experiencing the truth that everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. Saying yes to yourself is a graceful unfolding, an intentional becoming of the very best version of you. It is my hope that in these conversations, we are able to find our truth and be inspired and empowered to live our very best lives. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, and I look forward to finding a bit of our own story in each other's. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. I am really excited to introduce you to my friend, Paula Prickett. She and I are in a year-long mastermind together with our mentor, Gina DeVee, and she is just fun. She is Texan. She has beautiful hair. She is just a beauty. And I just find her so glamorous to my farm life being that I think it's really fun that we also have so many things in common. So she is a luxury travel agent, but more than an agent, she curates these beautiful, beautiful experiences and has access to a whole world that most of us don't know about. So if you are looking for a wonderful experience in a fabulous new place, then she is your girl. And I have to say as well that she is just such a light for me. We started our conversation, before I hit record, in a very different place than where we ended it. I was just feeling a little heavy, and the responsibilities of farm and life and the winter and parenting and being an entrepreneur and, all the things. I was feeling a little bit heavy, and I was able just to receive. I was able to receive from her, and I could feel my energy shift as soon as we hit record. And I think that, besides her presence, besides me getting my nonsense out of my body, and really realigning with what's available for me, what's available for all of us. It's just this podcast, it energizes me. Having these conversations, looking into the faces of these beautiful women, hearing their stories of how they're saying yes to themselves, knowing that you're going to love hearing their story, and you are most likely going to send me a beautiful comment on Instagram like so many of you already do. I love this. So thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do something that I had no idea I was going to treasure so much. So you are a gift. This podcast is a gift. Paula is a gift, and I'm super excited to share this conversation with you. Paula, I am so excited to see your beautiful face, and I'm really thrilled to continue our conversation. Paula and I have been chatting for about 30 minutes and then decided, I should probably hit record.
You should probably do that. It's so good to be here. Thank you so much, Miss Wendy, for having me on here.
My pleasure. So I am so excited. We were actually just speaking about human design and all of these good things. And I just think that it's a great place to start our conversation, because it is a giant way that you're saying yes to yourself. And I would love to hear more about that.
And I am in no way, shape, or form a human design expert. I literally just found this like a month ago from one of your podcasts, actually, one of your podcast guests. Ooh. And so I've dove into this a little bit more, but I've really kind of learned that the more that I learn about myself, the more things I can see happening in my life, and good and bad. And and make changes based on that. And, we were just talking about how, setting boundaries and what that's like. And it's kind of, I look back in my past and I see so many areas where I didn't have any and how it did not go well. And just how we can, make changes to our own lives and how we have so much power to do that.
Right. Yeah. We were even speaking about this concept of overgiving. And it seems like, well, no, I'm not overgiving. I'm just giving. And that's what I do. And I'm a giving person and I have so much to give.
Yes.
And so identifying where that slippery slope turns into overgiving and how is it overgiving or is it fabulous customer service?
Right.
Like how?
Right. Where's the line in the sand? And I think women especially, we are such giving people and so nurturing, some of us more than others, but just in general that we want all of this goodness for the people that are in our circle, in our sphere, that are within our reach and that we're dealing with. And so we just pour everything. And I think it's a real common thing for women that we just tend to do this, and it's not necessarily healthy.
Right. And as we've been, both of us, me just in the past couple of years, been introduced to this, school of thought, this just how we're all in our feminine energy and in our masculine energy. And I would say like common female characteristics are giving, nurturing, and those are actually characteristics that are in our masculine energy.
Sure.
Like masculine is the provider, protector, the giver, and in our feminine energy, it's receiving. And that's when we're like, whoa, oh no, I don't need to receive. I'm just fine. In fact, giving is how I receive.
Right.
Like and it's true that giving is receiving. And I'm doing a Course in Miracles right now. And there's, lesson 124 is, what I give, I receive. Like they are the same. It's something like that. And it's true that there is a receiving in giving. There is.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But what we're talking about is, like really the hard stop and the not feeling worthy of being given to. And that's where we're not being noble. We're not being humble. We're not being, more evolved. We're actually hiding. We're actually being in resistance to receiving because it brings up all the junk in our trunk.
I know. We're so not worthy. I'm not worthy of receiving this gift from you. So I'm just gonna, nope. I'm going to be over here. Let me give. Exactly. Let me empty my cup. Totally. And give some more.
Right. And how awkward we feel when someone tries to give something to us. And if we're responding in that energy, that makes them feel weird.
Right. I have actually had people, this always cracks me up. I have wonderful, amazing friends. I have had amazing friends send me a thank you note because I sent them a thank you note. I received this and I'm thanking you for it. And thank you. And they're like, oh no, thank you for the note. I was like, oh, good grief.
We're all like just spiraling together. So, how do we, because it makes the giver feel awkward when we don't receive.
Right.
So, and in our jobs, like you're a luxury travel agent. I'm leading curated tours to luxurious, yummy locations, doing fabulous things. And if I'm not able to receive, I am going to have a really hard time sharing what I'm doing with women.
Right. And I think
on these trips.
And I think we sort of, when we don't allow ourselves to receive, we rob the other person. We rob the other person of that opportunity of them, investing in themselves.
100%.
What we rob them of. And that was something, it took me a long time to actually realize that. When I would overgive, I would, let's say, if I'm working with a client and things like that, and I would just, and I'm not saying like go above and beyond, but like crazy to a crazy level.
Right. So for example, if somebody needed to change something while they are experiencing the itinerary, you're taking a call at 2 a.m. your time and making changes to an itinerary that there's a fee associated with the change, and you would absorb.
I would absorb that fee. In the past, I would absorb that fee and just take it and just be like, oh, this is just what I do. This is what I do. This is my person. This is what I do for them. And I no longer do that. Thank you very much.
That's so good.
My boundary now.
It's a big jump. I used to do that as a wedding planner.
Yeah.
And, because it's their wedding and I saw it and I needed to take care of it so they wouldn't know. And then I didn't recognize it in myself, but I recognized it in other wedding vendors. And my dear friend is a florist, and she would be telling me how much she charged and then added all of these other things that they wanted, but never adjusting her original proposal.
Sure.
And then I just looked at her and I said, "Are you the mother of the bride?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Why are you paying for her wedding flowers then? That doesn't make sense." And then she held up a big giant mirror. Are you the mother of the bride? Why are you doing all of this and not adjusting your proposal? So they've already agreed to work with us. And we need to be, I'll tell you what, the contractor that wants to work on my antique house, he gives me a price. And when he gets in there and it ends up being 47 other things, he doesn't say, "Oh, you're so nice and your cookies are so good. I'll just do the."
Your cookies are good.
They are. And I'll do the 47 other things. And the new price is this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's like a male thing, but, or if that's even just my perception of it, but they they're just like, no, this is business. This is how it works. And, as females, we don't have that separation. We're so emotionally involved that this is this, thing that we've created. And we're so, we're up to our armpits in it. And this is just a huge part of our life. And we're just so in it. We just blitz over that whole, oh no. And this is the price for the extra stuff that you just tacked on. I know.
Which I am happy to do at 2:00 in the morning. And you are happy that I'm doing it.
Yes.
And you actually want to pay me for that.
Yes. Yeah. It's only, and if you or I were in this situation, we would be like, oh, absolutely. Totally. I'm going to I was going to say reimburse, but that's not the right word, but I would, pay for that. I would pay for this beautiful service that you're doing for me. And I wouldn't even blink an eye.
Right.
Like I would just be like, oh, absolutely. This is how it works.
I'd be mad at you if you told me you weren't charging me for the extra service.
Exactly. Yeah. Isn't that so funny?
Physician, heal thyself.
Oof.
My word.
Right. Oh man. Yeah. I know.
So beyond our fabulous customer service, we'll call it that, because that part's going to stay.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And we are working through our beautiful, expansive mindset to be serving at our highest and best.
Yeah.
All of those good things. How did you find yourself in this beautiful, I don't know, venture?
Adventure? Yes. Right. So yes, I don't know if you know this or not, but I was a dental hygienist for
Oh,
20 something years.
Just like a luxury travel
Right.
cheerleader.
Disease is awesome
Yes.
when you're the hygienist, not when you're the patient. No one ever got excited about gum disease, ever. But I loved it. It was a great career. The people were great. My employers were great. Dentistry was very, very good to me. And I enjoyed it. There came a point in time. And it was actually my late husband, because I loved travel and I would love to plan things. Like I would plan what time the sun would come up, and if we wanted to be at X point, like what time we needed to leave. And this was when internet was a dial-up, right? Like this was like, yeah, it was. So there wasn't a whole lot of just stuff available online. But back then, and I would go to the library and I would check out all these books, and I would research these places that we were going to, and I'd find out all these just random things. And so it was actually his suggestion, because he was like, you love to do this. He's like, why don't you do this for other people? And I was like, wait a minute, you can do that for other people? Like,
right.
really?
Can't they just do that for themselves?
I know.
They do it. Everybody knows how to do this.
Right. Everyone. So easy. I'm like, yeah, why would they even hire me for that? That's ridiculous. Yeah. So then I just decided it was going to be a hobby. I was like, oh, because I had maybe kind of dabbled in some other little businesses along the way. Like, and I was like, this will just be a hobby. It's just this little side thing. Just do it. And then I really enjoyed it, because I love to do the trips that have similar to you, like you craft these great experiences. I love those with a lot of moving pieces, things like that. I do get some clients that they're tired of winter and they just want to go sit on a beach. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all need what we need. So that's cool. But the ones that have all the different moving pieces and the dinners we can do on the city wall and the things that, just private experiences and things like that. Those are my favorites to just put together for people. And just that they love, it's a special time for them. They get to, make new memories and share experiences with the people that they love. And it's just, to me, like that's something that they'll carry with them forever and impacts their lives forever. And that's why I love it. So here I am.
So beautiful. I love it. I mean, and it sounds so similar to, like what I was doing for my bride, and, orchestrating and managing all those moving parts, so that all they have to do is float through their day, and you tell them, oh, we're 5 minutes from cutting the cake. We're 5 minutes from the first dance. And they don't have to think about anything. And so that's what you're doing for your clients.
Yes.
It's so beautiful.
I've really enjoyed it. I've learned so much. I mean, obviously this is an entirely different planet from dentistry.
Right.
So I'm, and I'm an independent contractor. I do all my own things. So I do all my own marketing. I do all my own bookkeeping. I do all my stuff until I get to the point where I'm going to need team. But at the moment that isn't there. So before I would just go to a job and I would just show up and I would leave at the end of the day. So now I've learned so much.
Right. Entrepreneurship is no joke.
It is no joke.
But I also wouldn't trade it for anything.
Me either.
It's so good.
Neither. I get to walk my dogs every single morning. And do you know how many times, like in my 20 years of dentistry, I would go to work and I'd be like, I want to be able to walk my dogs in the morning every day.
I
like
love that.
Just those little things like that. And now I'm like, this is a non-negotiable. Partially because my dog demand it, but partially because I demand it too. Like this is happening every single day. And I love that.
Oh, I love that for you. And you've had to, so hard, explore some new fabulous places.
Yes.
So that you can market them with insight and intelligence to your clients. So tell me about the places that you've been recently, what you've loved about them.
Oh, I love everything about every place.
That's beautiful.
I know. And that's one of the tough questions. People would be like, what's your favorite place? And I'm like, I don't have one. I mean, I do for different reasons, but there's so many beautiful places in the world and so many beautiful people and so many it's just the world is awesome. It really is. It really is.
It
really
is. And I love the opportunity that you're giving for people to not wait, because when you say, oh, I have so many favorites, they're like, oh, okay. I thought I was only planning one trip with you, but I guess now I need 10 itineraries so that I've got the next 5 years covered. Right. I'm going to take 2 trips a year, and thank you. We're done.
Yeah.
So where have you been? Where did you just go this year?
This year I went to France a couple of times, and I went to Peru. I don't remember if I went anywhere else or not. I don't remember. The year before I did a lot of traveling, so I kind of cut back a little bit this year.
Okay. Where did you go so that was 2021 that you did quite a bit of traveling then?
Yes. Yeah. I think I did like 9 or 10 countries in that year. So
wow,
it was busy.
So fun.
Yeah, so it was super fun.
Like France is my space.
I love France.
I love France.
But
I don't know a lot about other places, and not that I'm like needing to add anything. I'm not done with France in the least, but if you had just come back from France and you weren't about to go back there next, where would you go?
Seeing that's just so hard because I will have I know next month I'll actually be going to Finland. Yeah. So I'm super excited about that. I'm going to Finland, and we're going to do the glass igloos, and you can see the Northern Lights. And that's been on my that actually was on my vision board for this year. So
that is cool. Okay. So tell me more. I mean, I am wearing a puffy coat right now in my house. So I think I could probably market my bed and breakfast as a glass igloo. But when people come, I turn the heat on. So please come. Please book a room at my bed and breakfast so I can turn the heat on and take my coat off. That's so
I have a friend of mine. We were talking about doing a reading retreat at your place.
Oh, so, perfect.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, right? You read your book and nobody bothers you.
Yes.
And I just bring you tea until you transition to champagne.
And I can walk your dog in the morning. So
yes, you can.
Life will be good.
Yeah. Yeah. You can go on the trails right off the property. It's perfect.
Love it.
Brilliant. I love that. So tell me about Finland and the glass igloos. Am I saying that right? Are they glass?
Yeah. They're glass igloos. So you can sleep in there. It's heated, and they have beds and a bathroom, and it depends on different ones. They're different styles, if you will. But you can sleep under this like glass dome, and then with the Northern Lights, they're typically, you can see them. Oh, I forget the exact number, but it's like 200 and something odd days of the year. So you can see them often, and
that is cool.
Yeah. So I'm super excited about that some of these things they just manifest into my existence. I don't know how else to say it. Like,
bring it.
It shows up in my lap, and I'm like, absolutely, I'm all for this. So it's me saying yes.
I'm so happy you get a good yes. Those are good things to fall into your lap.
And then I can also take that experience and use it to help my clients. And get things that fit best for them, because different people like different things, and it's their experience and it's their trip. So I do my best to craft something that will be custom for them and perfect for them. So
right. And concierge service is, it takes a long time, and it requires a lot of your attention, and that's the service that you're providing. So do you even have space to take on new clients?
I do. Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah, I do. So, we talk about how we personally, like, I know you you are such a hostess at heart that, you know, for you to welcome people into your bed and breakfast and on your trips and your experiences and things like that. And I know for me personally, and just my experiences in life and the way that I see some people choosing to live, which is their prerogative. Right. But like, for instance, something that's very close to me, I had a client that I recently had to cancel their bucket list trip. And this happens, like cancellations, that's not a big deal. But what broke my heart was they'd retired. This is their bucket list trip. They'd been waiting for this. And then he got a health diagnosis, and he will be with his family. He's going to survive, but he will not be getting on a plane ever again.
Oh no.
So like, that's, you know, we aren't guaranteed anything. We aren't guaranteed tomorrow. We make our plans, but sometimes, you know, if you put off these dreams, right, that's a hard thing. Cause even, you know, take some steps towards whatever that dream is.
Yes.
You know, and it'll come. But if you just put it off until, oh, I'll do this when I retire. I'll do that. We aren't guaranteed. Right. We aren't guaranteed our health. We aren't guaranteed tomorrow. So that's kind of like a, you know, do the bucket list now, do the things now, you know, right. It's like, now is your time.
List.
Yeah.
Let's just call it a list. Let's just, everyone right now, jot down a place you want to visit in 2023. And the first place that comes to your mind, or the first type of experience you want to have, just write it down.
Or even just what you want to do in life. Like, why are we putting these things off?
Please
like,
don't.
We have them on our
one. Yeah. You can have more. You can have more. Exactly. Yeah. There's not just one. There's not just, even, you know, like when people are trying to figure out what's my thing, what's my purpose, what am I supposed to do? And, you know, even when people ask me, like, I don't really understand what it is you do. Like, that's awesome. Me either. But I'm just saying yes to what feels like the next right thing. Right. And, you know, I've done a produce CSA. Holy smokes. I know I don't want to do that. Because you have to sell a lot of lettuce. And when you're an organic farmer, there isn't much lettuce that some other creature hasn't already started eating. So you have to sell a lot of lettuce just to get a few perfect ones. I mean, and I didn't know that I didn't want to do that until I did that.
Right.
And thought, okay, that's not quite right. But in the following year, instead of selling this box of vegetables and fruit from the property that people would then, you know, take home and figure out what to do. And of course I provided a recipe and ideas.
Of course you did.
What to do. Of course I did.
Of course you did.
But this year, instead, what I did was, let me take the guesswork out of these fruits and vegetables.
I love this.
And I will just make the thing for you. Right. Yes. So instead of a basket of blueberries, I've already made scones and preserves and a garden inspired craft cocktail mixer. And then here's some eggs for my chickens, and here's some flowers. So it's completely done for you.
I love that.
Right? You say, thank you.
Absolutely. And I don't even have to use my kitchen that I don't want to use.
Because you think your house would be so much bigger if there wasn't a kitchen.
How much bigger if I do not have a kitchen?
I love that. I feel like there are two kinds of people. Like, there are people that change their own oil and people that take their car to the dealer for the oil change.
Right.
But I think, you know, and in that there's like another subset of people, like a different mechanic, and then sit in the waiting room and wait for their car. And that, you know, so and then there's some people that are just like, can you just have someone drive the loaner car to my house, pick up my car, do the oil change, and then bring my because I just can't be bothered. It's just none of those details delight me. Like, that is our client. Because for both of us, the joy is in the doing. Like, you love curating the trip.
Yeah.
They love not curating the trip, but
Right.
having a
Yes.
curated experience.
Yes.
My true client, like there are some people that enjoy what I do and ask me for the recipe, but there's a lot more people that say, I'm going to a party. Can you please make the cookies?
Yes. And your cookies are amazing.
Thank
They're
you.
amazing.
Thank you. And I have a cookie subscription. So you can have 6 months of fabulous small batch cookies with the highest quality ingredients
So good.
sent right to your house.
They're so
And
good.
if you don't want to eat a dozen of
Oh,
them,
I do.
okay, good, perfect.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Say, like, I'll eat 6 of them and send you 6. No. I can split it up for you, but I'm also doing the farm boxes that I made available in the summer. I'm also going to do that because maybe you want more than cookies. Maybe you want 6 months of all the magic coming out of my kitchen. And I don't even know what it is yet.
Right.
So let's discover it together. But I do know in January, it will be Meyer lemon vanilla bean marmalade.
Ooh.
Which will change your life. It's so good. My friend in California has a Meyer lemon tree and she sends me the flat rate, if it fits, it ships boxes. So she sends me one full of Meyer lemons.
I had one of those trees. It died in the freeze.
Oh, bummer. That's so bad.
I know.
Yeah.
I didn't know what they were. I had to post it on Facebook.
They make a very nice Cosmo.
That's what they said. I was like, oh, those are amazing. I don't know what this is.
It's so great to have the internet to find out all these fabulous things, isn't it?
Yum.
Oh, so good. So good.
Now I can't wait for January.
Right?
Thanks.
I know. Yay. Okay. Now did you go to Qatar or you want to go to Qatar? I don't know if I can spell Qatar.
Right. Yes. Or where it is located. No, it was something that I thought that I had wanted. And then me going on it was involved the selection process. And I'm like, I don't think you understand. Like, of course you're going to select me. Like, it's ridiculous.
Obviously.
And I did not get selected. And so then I had to go into, well, then there must be something better.
I love that attitude.
So then I was like, then there must be something better. And oddly enough, something better did pop up.
Not odd at all.
I know, not odd at all. And actually there's a property in the south of France. And it's called Capistal. I don't know if I can say that on here, but I'm going to.
You can,
I can link it I can send you the link.
We'll link it in the show notes if
it's
something that
it's amazing. Like it is. I actually was talking to a friend of mine who she is a photographer. She photographs like Paris Fashion Week and things like that. And she's adorable. And she was like, oh, she's like, you need to go there. She said, it is the happiest you have ever been in your entire life when you are there. And it is totally true. And I don't know what it is about this property, but it is amazing. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's built into the cliffs on the water. And even their gym, I was on the treadmill in the morning and I'm watching the sun come up and the waves. And it's just, it's magical. I know. So that was what better meant for me came along rather than Qatar. So it's been interesting how we kind of lean in and trust that these things will happen. Yeah.
And it's a trustworthy source that brings them to us.
Right? I mean, I was not disappointed.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. And now I know exactly where it's at and how to get to it and how to send my people there. And they can be having the most
happiest they've ever been.
Yes.
I'm pretty happy. So I would really love to go there and see how much better this whole happy gets.
I know. It's magical.
That's amazing.
So that was.
And I love about both of us that when we find something great, we don't whisper about it.
Right.
Right? Like we want people to experience these amazing things and invite them in, and it makes our joy grow,
Yeah.
even though you're not going on the trip with your clients.
Right.
Like you're reliving your experience.
Yeah. It's, again, going back to the whole giving, receiving thing. It's to me, that is a huge gift. I love being a part of my clients' experiences. I love that. Like that is so internally rewarding for me. And that just fills me up. Like that is just awesome. I love it. It gives me goosebumps.
And it's so good because you experiencing that is a great reminder of what the person that is desiring to give to you
Yeah.
gets to experience when you receive it.
Right. Right. Right.
So many lessons.
So many lessons. I also love too that just, like sometimes I will hear this, and I don't know if you do, but people be like, oh, that seems great, but I could never do X, Y, Z. And it's in, you get, again, you're talking about your friend and what you could see. And I'm like, no, like you are so worthy of, like, you are amazing. Like, I don't think you understand how amazing you are. And you are totally worthy of, all of your dreams and all of the experiences in life that you want to have. And we get in this weird headspace where we think, oh, I can't have that. That's just for other people, or
too much goodness.
Yeah. I'm like, no, this is the mirror I want to show up to you. Like, you are awesome. Like, you have so many great qualities. Like, look at all the stuff you do every day. And you don't even think twice about it. Like, people are super cool.
And it's great to be in relationship with other people that we can speak that into and hear it for ourselves.
Totally.
Because I don't know if you've read Gay Hendricks' book, The Big Leap.
Yes, I have. It's been a while.
So good. Yeah. And he just talks about like that upper limit problem. And you have to ask yourself, how good are you willing to let life get?
Right.
It seems like, well, duh, that's an easy question. I'm wanting to be great. But we actually have a lot of resistance to being really happy and being really, like, whether it's love or success or abundance in any fashion. And God wants us to be happy. Like, that's it.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. It's, again, it comes, like, are we willing to receive this for ourselves? Or are we willing to allow this for ourselves? And I know in my life, I can look back and see things where, and part of it was just, you don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
Right. But so part of it was, kind of the company that I would keep, they would complain all the time. And so, I would complain all the time. And, now the company that I keep, they're like, okay, yeah, let's, we don't have our heads in the sand. We realize that there are challenges.
Right.
Get that. But there really are so many beautiful things every day to experience, and so many beautiful people. And now my circles, they focus more on the good versus, seeing that, when you look for good, you see more good, right?
100%. What we focus on grows. I mean,
totally.
Even the beginning of this conversation before we hit record, I was in tears. I was like, why is this so hard? I have good things and I want people to come and they just don't come, and I don't understand, and why? And it's like, I have to, my process is
work through that.
Get that out of my body.
Yep.
I'm acknowledging it because stuffing it feels awful.
Oh, that's the worst.
And it makes me feel inauthentic. So when I show up, like, I'm not going to show up and pretend I'm not having a hard time. So I'm going to acknowledge that. I'm going to get it out of my body. It feels really hard. And then I say it, it loses all of its power.
Yeah.
It loses as soon as you say it out loud.
Yep.
It's lost its power.
Yep.
Keeping it inside makes it get big. I was recently in a conversation with one of the most gorgeous humans that I know, and she was sharing with me some really vulnerable things. And she actually started the conversation with, can I tell you something? And I was like, oh my gosh, of course. And she said, can I tell you something, even if it means you're going to think less of me? And I just authentically responded, that is 100% impossible.
Right.
In fact, just you thinking of that makes me already think, I don't even care what it is.
I already love you more. Yeah.
I don't care if you like ran over my dog on purpose. Like, I'm already not mad. Like, I just like, because when we keep these things inside, we just think, oh, well, if they really knew me, or if they really, and I think that comes a lot from what we were talking about at the beginning of receiving. It's like when we hear the accolades of these clients that are that haven't, known us since we were born.
Right.
So they don't know everything.
Right.
And they say we're amazing. Sometimes we can go straight to that really easy to access list of all non-amazing things that we've done that we can just, that's how we're blocking it. And when we say these things out loud, when we get it out of our body in a container that is safe,
right,
that will acknowledge the emotion and the feeling and not allow you to stay in it.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Allow that space to move through. Yeah.
I can speak it to you because you're going to say, oh, okay, that's nice. I understand. And you're full of crap and, whatever, like it's nonsense. And let's just, get on with it. So like the recovery process is getting much shorter.
Oh my gosh, so much shorter. Yeah.
And that's what I love. And that is what I love about these beautiful containers, the mastermind you and I are in, where we're hearing other people's wins. And, sometimes we're like, I want to say I have a win too.
Yeah. I mean, we're still super happy. Don't get me wrong. Like I am thrilled because you do it. So I know it can be done.
Rising tides raise all ships.
Absolutely.
And when we see someone else having success, even like, especially in the industry that is ours, they didn't take anything that was ours.
Oh, goodness, no.
They have, and goodness does not leave less for us.
No.
We can just write them a thank you note. Thank you for showing me what's possible. I'm next.
Yes. And then they can send us a thank you note back, thanking us for the thank you note.
Yes, that's right. Because that's what we do. That's so funny. And it's true. What you said about, changing your circle of influence and that circle, and sometimes it takes action on our part. For me,
totally.
The pandemic did a lot of deselecting on my behalf. And I've been really mindful of who I let back in.
Yeah. And that was something that I wasn't aware that I needed. Like, I knew these people, even though they were heavy into complaining and things, like I knew they still cared. Like that was never the issue, but I didn't. Yeah. But I didn't realize that I was responsible for my own space. And I was responsible for who I, choose to have in my inner circles. Like, and I didn't realize that I even had that kind of power to choose that. I was just like, oh, this is who's in my life. So it's a lesson, and it's something that, again, when you see it, but
right. And when you know better, you do better.
Exactly. Yeah. There are really, and seek and you shall find, there are awesome people. There are amazing people out there.
Yes. And we can own our experience.
Oh, totally.
That is, I have it on my sticky note right here. It's not quite as faded as the how is not my responsibility. Like that's been there for 2 years. It's really faded from the sun. I need to redo it, but I need to have these reminders in front of me. Like I have assume the best, own my experience. The how is not my responsibility. And then send the email and then do the dishes and the laundry and the ironing because
were we just talking about?
Yes, we were. Because I have, there's a lot to do. And sometimes it's easier
to
do the things that we're good at
I know.
before doing the things that might require learning a skill or
being uncomfortable.
To the actual success that we say that we desire.
Yep. I know.
Yeah.
100%.
And when that happens, and it happens a lot, but when I'm mindful, I'm aware of it, then I'm like, oh, that's juicy. Like I had to get a flashlight in there. Like I'm
Isn't that funny? I need to dissect this.
I need to tell Paula that I'm in avoidance about, I'm in resistance about sending an email. I love talking to my community.
Yeah.
Why I am walking copy. Like
you are.
I'm an Instagram live, but to actually like transcribe that into my email would be brilliant because I think it's the sitting and doing it. And there's a new system and I don't know it well. And I just need it to work when I need it to work because I don't know when I'm going to be sitting here again. And so I start to tell myself an old story of, the technology is not your sweet spot. You should just go back to the kitchen and make some cookies and at least, or do the laundry or
versus the reality of where you're completely capable of doing anything you choose to do. That one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Been there. I can relate to this 1,000%. Right.
And that's why we have each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we can check in and say, did you do the hard thing?
Yeah.
Because there's no champagne until the hard thing is done. And that's the beauty about champagne because you can actually open it any time of day and it's appropriate.
Agreed. Yes. Agreed.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I have loved this conversation.
Thank you
so much for sharing just
Thanks for having me.
Goodness.
You are so hospitable.
My pleasure. And I can't wait to see you again in person. It's going to be amazing.
Me too. Me too. Thank you so much for this. I do appreciate it.
My pleasure. I'll chat with you soon.
All right. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. As always, any links or notes mentioned can be found at phineaswrighthouse.com in the podcast section of our site or in the show notes below. And if you haven't connected with me personally, come find me on Instagram at Phineas Wrighthouse and let me know you listened to this episode. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I know your days are full, and I'm really grateful that you chose to spend some of your precious time right here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of these delightful conversations. I'll see you next week.